Hi everyone, it's Stuart Van Cleve, the Web and Digital Services Librarian at Winona State University. Today I'm going to show you how to find articles about specific populations. We're starting at the main page of the library, and we're going to go over to our Databases tab. And what I'm going to do is look in PsycInfo, backed by something called EBSCO. EBSCO is a big company that makes a number of different databases. You can also do this in CINAHL, which is another great database for looking for studies on specific groups of people. I'm going to click on PsycInfo for this demonstration. But as you can see, EBSCO does a number of different databases that you can select when you click on Choose Databases. So all of these databases are going to look very similar to one another, and you can use this feature in many of them. So what I'm going to do is click on the Advanced Search feature right away. And what I'm going to do when I have the Advanced Search feature is do things like make sure that my publication year is recent. I'm going to look to make sure that it's coming from a peer-reviewed journal. I'm going to make sure that what I'm going to find is going to be in English. If you're interested in searching for male populations or female populations, then you're going to want to select a field right up at the top. You can see that there are a number of different fields that you can search in. What I'm going to do is go down to population, that's PO, that's the code for it. You don't have to remember that, but it might be easy if you do a lot of population type searches. We're going to use the example of looking for females and not males. So we are only interested in studies that are about females. So if I type in female, that'll search for females. But the important thing to do is to say not male. Now I capitalize not. That's an old library trick. You don't have to do that, but it helps me distinguish between the actual words that I'm searching for and what I want the computer to do with them. The important thing is just to write not and then followed by the thing that you do not want. We're going to click on search. We get a lot of articles, but that's because I'm basically searching for everything in PsycInfo that is about women and not men. But you can see in all of the articles, each one of these is about women, and men are not included as part of the study. So say, for example, if I'm interested in searching for childhood-aged girls, that's going to be the thing that I'm looking for. So what I'm going to do is make sure that I look down at the age groups, and it says childhood right here. You do want to borrow or adapt the terminology that is used in this age groups section. So if you write down kids, it's not going to know what's going on. So if I say, for example, I'm going to copy childhood, and I'm going to look at the age group, which is AG right here, and I want to make sure that I use the terms that are available in age group. Okay, so I'm going to do childhood. I'm not going to write kids, because it won't understand what kids is. It only knows that this whole group is going to be called childhood. So I'm going to type in childhood in age group, and then in population, I'm going to type in female, not male. We'll search. So what we're seeing here is that we are going to have studies that include childhood and females. If you do not want school-age children, if you do not want adolescents, that's going to be where you're going to use that not feature. So say, for example, if we do not want adulthood as part of our study, I'm going to write in not adulthood. And you can actually continue adding on with or, I'll capitalize that with or, you can say not adulthood, or we could say adolescents. We don't want that either. We just want to look at this specific population. We had 20,000 results, and now we have 13,000. So each time we do that, we're actually cutting out more, and it looks like we might want to use a parenthesis here. Let me see how that works. So I used a parenthesis just now. You can see that sometimes this is a process where sometimes you have to try different things to get it to work the way that you want it to. So you can think about this almost kind of like a math equation. Even though I don't like math, I do like thinking of it this way. It helps us understand how to talk to this machine. So we are saying not, and then we're putting in parentheses all the things that we do not want. Okay, so what the machine is doing is it says, okay, I know you're looking for this childhood group, and you do not want this and that. In order to tell the computer that it cannot include this or that, you have to put it in parentheses. That's just how it talks to the machine. If you do not do that, it will say, okay, I'm looking for childhood, not adulthood, but I could also look for adolescence. It thinks in a very linear way, so you have to be very clear with it by using those parentheses to tell it, I'm looking for childhood and not, and then it sees this parenthesis and it goes, oh, okay, there's going to be a list here. And then you're going to say adulthood or adolescence. So search for that. And what we do is that we then find those 7,000 articles that are about school-age children or childhood that are women. To learn more about Krueger Library, be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or you can click on Ask Us and be directed to our frequently asked questions and contact information.